breakdancing dead? Are you joking? I wish there was about 4 of me. I could make a lot of money. I do 56 schools back and forwards all year round. Some schools I've been in like for 2 to 3 years and they keep phoning me back because basically they're trying to get lads to learn dance, and the only dance that they'll do is breakdancing, body popping and robotics. They won't do contemporary for some reason. So breakdancing is not dead. No, not at all. I think I mean, from live, it's more live. It's more underground. It's like the dance music scene. Eventually, it comes up, and then it goes back down to its original roots.
Comes around. Yeah. It's come back round again.
It's come back round again. I don't think it'll enter into sort of like popular culture as a sort of like a dominant form of doing things because it seemed like an extreme sport. You know, the complexity of the moves that are actually being performed today.
All the hand wimbles.
It's far beyond your average person. I mean, you'd actually have to have a passion for this, like you'd actually have to have a passion for, say, gymnastics or running. You'd have to actually be in a part of your life. I don't think from a social situation it'll become as popular. Do you know what I mean? Which is good for it because then it makes it an art form even more in its own right.
When you look at breaking, you look at different styles of martial arts as well. That's where, you know, some of that is generated from, like capoeira and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, it's all floor moves and kickovers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's more energetic.
It's just like the youth today. They tend to be a little bit more lazy than back when we used to dance. You know, when they see all the moves, they want to do it, but they won't. It takes hours and hours of practice. Hours of practice. Some of them just don't want to do that, but the ones who do, you know, breakdancing has a big influence on them.
And I hooked up with Swanee again, and he sort of reintroduced me to the breakdance scene. Because as far as I'm concerned, as far as I knew, it got killed off in the 80s, and that was it. And the only thing that was going to be reminiscent of it was our own memories of it back then. So when he showed me the stuff that we were doing today, I was like, it was just like being back in 1983 and seeing it on TV the first time. It's like, how did they think? But the level that it is today is just like, it's not like how did he think? It's not just like how did you think of it, but where did he go to like practice it?
Breakdancing today is unbelievable. You should see the stuff doing today. It's just like, you can't do that. You see the moves and you think, what the hell?
And me personally, I think I'll be glad if, you know, they splash it all over MTV and splash it all over this instead of having all the booty dances, you know, and all this, you know, because it's good to see something creative, you know. Not dissing the girls, like, man, they look good and everything, man, but you know, you want to put it back in the music, you want to put the dance back in the music, and that's what you need.
Well, actually, I think if we're talking about 2006, and then we take it back another decade to 96, the breakdancing in 96 was interesting in terms of a lot of blow-up moves were being made, but people weren't really interested in kind of, they weren't interested in how they articulated music within their dance form. So what you had was a lot of big things like air tracks, air chairs, you know, huge windmills, head spins, helmet spins. But what the people were doing, they were articulating the dance or articulating the music through their dance. Whereas I think in 2006, you do have people like Mouse who can do the most amazing things. Puff, Irvine, you know, who can do absolutely amazing things as breakdancers, but also they're completely grounded in their musicality. So what you have now is you have almost a throwback energy where people are really interested in your up rock, your down rock, you know, your floor moves, how you get into something, your musicality of how you get into it. Somebody like Ken Swift is constantly reinventing, finding new ways of being able to get into kind of pretty old stock moves, but the way that he will do it is absolutely amazing, and it's his style that is most important.
Of course, back in 1978, first time I saw anything underground and radical was graffiti. It was writing. My brother was a writer. He used to write on the subway trains. And I had been living on 96th Street in Amsterdam and Columbus. And in 77, I moved to 97th to 98th in Amsterdam. And being over there was a little bit different from where I was at. It was closer to the projects. And and walking uptown from where I was at, I would go by and hear music and stuff like that. The first time I ever saw it in its real state was at a park on 100th Street in Amsterdam Avenue. It was dark, it was at night. There's a little bit of light from the park lights. Apparently they took some electricity from one of the street poles and they plugged in turntables, speakers, and it was kind of dark, but people out there, the only light that you could really see was the light that was on the turntables, like really lit up where the people were DJing, because they had to see all their wiring and all the connections and everything. So walk through there, you know, music playing, seeing people from the neighborhood, you know. Some people I knew, some people I didn't. But then, you know, there was this like little group of people, just like in a certain area. I didn't know what was going on. Walked over there and saw people in there dancing. Then I put it together. I was like, okay, that's that stuff. I had seen it a couple times before, but personally through a friend. Dole showed me a shuffle one time, and my boy Dante, he did a spin and a split when I was little in front of a record shop, and those are the first times.
But it's also style, content, and musicality. And that's when if I judge a competition, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not just looking for blow-up moves. I'm looking for how somebody dances, and are they embodying the music in the way that they move. Because if you're not doing that, you're not representing b-boy, you're not representing popping, you know. And basically, you wouldn't have been able to get away with that back in the day because it was about the dance. People were constantly dancing. It's a social dance, so you need to move with the music. You need to be inspired by the music. So now, in 2006, I think that a lot of people are moving towards, are you on beat? How nice are you? You know, because otherwise people are going, well, you're great at these big blow-up moves, but if you haven't got no musicality, it doesn't really work.
I always knew that this would never disappear from any community because I know there would always be some kid doing it. I knew it would never die. It never did die. You know, I can't see how any human being can say something is dead. We have billions of people on this planet. The idea of us bringing and being a part of bringing it around the world through media, once it got on television and tape, it was a wrap. I knew it would never die because the way I received it and the energy I felt initially, I knew other kids, back when they see it, they want to love it just as much. And you know, then you know, it will be just a test of how they felt about it after a year or two, to see if they really wanted to stay doing it, because you know, society wasn't really trying to hear it after a while. They were like, okay, we're done with that. The media was like, okay, we used it up, we can't really use it no more. And then it dealt with the individual and how they felt about music and dance, if they wanted to stay. And a lot of people left. A lot of people just left after 2 or 3 years. It just felt like, well, there's no money involved, and then other people were like, well, no one's doing it. And other people were like, well, let's play it out. So it kind of went its own way, but we would have never imagined it to be where it is now, back in the days. But I never thought about it where it would be now. I was just having fun for the moment. We were just enjoying ourselves.